The key turned the same way it always did. No resistance. Just that soft metallic click. I pushed the door open and stood for a second without going in. The hallway smelled like nothing. No cooking, no trash, no mildew. Just air. 4 days. That's how long I was gone. Business trip, conference, hotel, long hours. Boring. Predictable. I live alone. No roommate. No pets. So nothing should have moved. I stepped in. Shoes by the door. Same place. Coat on the hook. Mail slot empty. It looked like I never left. I dropped my bag by the fridge, not even zipped it open. Opened the fridge. Light on. 1 bottle of water, a half jar of mustard, and 2 leftover containers, same ones I left. Everything identical. I checked the thermostat. Still set to 68. No missed calls on the landline. Even the blinking light on the Wi-Fi router pulsed like always, steady blue, faint hum. I should have felt fine. But the air in the living room was warm. Warmer than it should have been. I walked past the couch. Paused. There was a dent in the cushion. Round. Soft. I touched it. Still shaped. Like someone had been sitting there not long ago. I pressed my own hand into the other side. Held it for 10 seconds. Let go. The imprint it left was deeper. Sharper. More defined. The one on the left side was older. Settled. But not by much. Maybe an hour? I shook it off. Told myself maybe it was from before I left. Maybe I leaned on it packing. I walked to the bedroom. The curtain was half drawn. I never leave it like that. It's either fully open or shut. Halfway makes the streetlight flicker against the wall. I hate that. But there it was, hanging crooked, just enough for the shadow to fall across the bed. And the bed. I stopped. The comforter was rumpled. Not thrown. Not messy. Just shaped. Like someone had been lying on top of it. Not under the covers. Just resting. The pillow had a crease. Centered. Round. I reached out and touched it. Warm. Not body hot. But not cold. Not the kind of room temperature cool you expect after 4 days. It held heat. Just barely. Like someone had gotten up minutes ago. I stood there, hand on the pillow, trying to decide if I had ever felt more alone. Or less. I left the bedroom without touching anything else. Walked slowly to the kitchen. Opened drawers. Cabinets. Everything where it should have been. The cup I used for coffee still upside down in the dish rack. The butter knife still resting on a folded paper towel. No dishes in the sink. No crumbs. No dust. But the light above the stove was on. I never use it. It flickers. It's burned out twice in the last year. I only use the overhead. But now it glowed soft orange. Buzzing faintly. I reached up and clicked it off. The switch clicked louder than usual. I turned and looked at the hallway. Then stepped into the laundry closet. I hadn't done laundry before leaving. I remember that. No point in washing clean clothes. I took everything fresh with me. But the washer door was ajar. Only a crack. I opened it slowly. Inside, clothes. Still damp. Dark colors. Folded strangely. Bunched. I pulled one sleeve forward. It was a t-shirt I didn't recognize. Black. No logo. No tag. I touched the metal drum. Still warm. I opened the dryer. Empty. I didn't even turn it on. Didn't press a button. But the display flickered for a second. Like it was waking up. Then blinked off. I checked behind the machine. Plugged in. No leak. I reached down, pulled the shirt out. No label. No holes. Nowhere. But soft. like it had been worn for years. I dropped it on the floor and walked to the bathroom, closed the door behind me, turned on the light. It hummed. I looked at the mirror. Clear. But the edge had a smear. Not a fingerprint. More like a smudge from a face. Centered at forehead height. I leaned close. Just below the fog line, like someone had pressed in gently. And the toothbrush. Mine. Same as always. But next to it, a second one. Same brand. Same color. Same wear on the bristles. Two of them. Indistinguishable. I reached out, picked them both up. Held one in each hand. They weighed the same. And I couldn't remember which one was mine. I left the bathroom light on. Didn't want to see the hallway in shadow. Walked back through the apartment like it was someone else's. Same floor. Same windows. But everything too still. Like it had been waiting. I stood in front of the fridge. It hummed softly. Same motor buzz I've always known. But when I opened it again, the light felt brighter. Not white. More like fluorescent blue. Hospital blue. I hadn't noticed that before. Inside, everything looked the same as when I got home. Top shelf, the water bottle, mustard, leftover curry. But then I saw it. A glass bottle tucked in the side of the door. Brown. Unlabeled. No cap. Not mine. I never buy glass. Too heavy. Too loud. It clinks. I reach for it. The bottle was cold. Inside, something yellow. Almost translucent. Not juice. Not beer. Something with pulp. I tilted it slightly. No fizz. No bubbles. And then I noticed the ring inside the neck. A lipstick smear. Barely visible in the light. I don't wear lipstick. No one's been in here since I left. At least, no one I let in. I set the bottle down on the counter. Didn't touch the rim. Didn't smell it. Just stared at it. I opened the freezer. Everything in place. But the ice tray was empty. Every cube gone. Not spilled. Just used. I never emptied it. In the cupboard next to the fridge, I found 2 mugs. Both rinsed. Still slightly wet. One was mine. The other, I didn't recognize. No logo. Just a faint scratch on the base. Like it had been dragged across tile. I walked to the couch. Saturday. Pressed my hand into the same cushion from before. Still soft. Still warm. I turned on the TV. Mute. Input showed HDMI 1. I don't own a console. I never use HDMI 1. And the screen said, last active, 2 hours ago. I had only been home for 1. I fell asleep on the couch. Didn't mean to. Didn't even close my eyes fully. Just blinked. When I opened them again, the apartment was dark. The TV had shut off. No noise from the fridge. No buzz from the bathroom light. I checked my phone. 2:07 a.m. No notifications. I sat up slowly. The cushion beneath me was warm again. Too warm. Like someone had just stood up. I walked to the light switch near the hallway. Flipped it. Nothing. Dead. Same with the bathroom. The only light still glowing was the small red LED on the power strip in the bedroom. Faint. Like a dot in fog. I stood by the window and listened. Street empty. No cars. No wind. And then the phone rang. Landline. Not the cell. Just one ring. A flat, mechanical sound. Like it had come from inside a wall. I picked up. Silence. Not static. Not a dropped line. Just nothing. I said nothing back. Held it to my ear for a long minute. Then, click. Call ended. I checked the display. Unknown number, 2:13 a.m. I unplugged the phone from the wall, went back to the bedroom, pulled the curtain wide open. Outside, everything was still. Empty sidewalk, parked cars, flickering street lamp. I checked under the bed. Nothing. Opened the closet. No change. But one hanger was swaying slightly. I hadn't touched it. I lay down on the bed. Still warm. Like it had never cooled. I closed my eyes. But I didn't sleep. Because I could still smell something faint. Familiar, but not mine. Shampoo. And I haven't used shampoo in weeks. I waited until morning before moving again. Didn't sleep. Just stared at the ceiling until it turned pale. I made coffee. Didn't drink it. Left it cooling on the counter beside the bottle I still hadn't touched. The couch cushion still held a shape. Not fresh, but recent. I knelt. Checked under it. Loose change. Dust. Nothing unusual. But under the couch itself, deep beneath, near the back leg, something plastic caught the light. I reached in. Fingers brushed a smooth edge. Flat. Thin. Pulled it out. It was a SIM card. Loose. No case. No packaging. Just the card. I turned it over. No writing. Just the gold contacts. I held it against the light. There was a faint scratch across the edge, like it had been inserted many times. I don't use SIM cards. I've had the same phone and number for 6 years. No backups. No duplicates. I laid it on the counter beside my phone. It didn't belong to me, but it had been in my apartment. Under my couch. I checked the front door. Still locked. Deadbolt in place. No sign of tampering. I checked the windows. All closed. Latched. But the air inside didn't feel sealed. It felt touched. I turned on my laptop. Checked recent Wi-Fi connections. My network, yes. One other. HTG43. Unfamiliar. No password history. Last connected 2 nights ago. When I wasn't here. I opened the webcam folder. I don't use it. But there was a thumbnail preview. Last modified the day I left. I clicked. The video opened. Black screen for the first few seconds. Then static. Then a room. My room. From the perspective of the open laptop. Dimly lit. Curtains drawn. Chair in the center of the room. Someone sitting in it. Not facing the screen. Just sitting. Still. Head tilted slightly. Hands in lap. Could have been anyone. Could have been me. But I wasn't here. I watched the video 3 times. Paused. Rewound. Let it play. There was no movement. Just that still figure in the chair. But each time I watched, the lighting looked slightly different. Not brighter. Just off. Like the glow came from a source behind the laptop. Something not in the room now. I opened the laptop lid wider. The hinge creaked. Hadn't done that before. I ran my fingers along the webcam bezel. Dust smudged in an arc. Like it had been adjusted. Turned just slightly. But the camera doesn't turn. It's fixed. Built in. I opened the file folder again. Sorted by date. A second video. Hidden under a different name. Just a string of numbers. I played it. This time the room was empty. No chair. No figure. Just the bed. And the faint outline of someone lying on it. Not moving. Just a shape under the comforter. The timestamp said it was recorded the day I got back. Before I walked in. I don't remember leaving the laptop open. I don't remember setting up recording. I don't even remember using it at all that week. I closed it. Went back to the hallway. The floor creaked under one step. Different than usual. Like the wood had shifted. I walked to the fuse box. Opened it. Nothing tripped. Everything normal. Except one switch had a strip of tape on it. Peeling. I don't tape breakers. No one does. It was labeled in pen. Don't touch, active. My handwriting. But shaky. Off center. I peeled the tape off. No resistance. Opened the switch fully. Nothing happened. No click. No change in lights. I flicked it back. And from the other room. A soft sound. Not electric. Not mechanical. More like fabric. Something shifting. I walked to the bedroom again. Curtains still open. But the comforter on the bed was no longer smooth. It had been lifted slightly. Not folded. Not crumpled. Just raised. Like something underneath had exhaled. I didn't get closer to the bed. Just stood there in the doorway. The comforter settled slowly. No sound. No wind. I stepped back. Opened the closet. Still empty. Still clean. But the top shelf had dust disturbed in a crescent. Like something had rested there. A box maybe. Or a head. I didn't check. Back to the living room. Opened the laptop again. Clicked deeper into the system logs. Hidden folder. Different name this time. System_cache_43. Inside, one video. Just a few seconds long. Titled only by time. I played it. The camera faced the hallway. Slightly angled. Like it had been propped up. The timestamp was from last night. Hours before I came home. At first the screen was black. Then static. Then movement. A person walking into frame. Tall. Thin. Head down. He stopped in the center. Then looked up. It was me. Exact same hoodie. Same jeans. Same posture. But I wasn't there. I was a state away. On the trip. I watched myself reach into the pocket. Pull out a key. Insert it into the doorknob. Then stop. Stare directly into the lens. No emotion. Then everything cut. I rewound. Paused on the face. Not a perfect match. Hair slightly shorter. Eyes duller. But it was me. Same jaw. Same scar above the eyebrow. The one from a bike fall in 9th grade. I checked the metadata. No location tag. Just local recording. I opened the hallway closet. Dug through the box of cables. Pulled up my old backup drive. I hadn't touched it in a year. Plugged it in. Scrolled to archived security logs. A camera from last year. Mounted by the door. Only a few files survived. Corrupt timestamps. But one played. A loop of the front door. Late at night. Winter. And in the faint glow. That same person. Same build. Same coat. Standing. Facing the peephole. Unmoving. For almost 4 minutes. Before turning around. And locking the door. From the inside. I didn't sleep. Didn't even sit. Just paced between the bedroom and the living room. Back and forth. Every few steps I looked over my shoulder. But the apartment never changed. No new noises. No movement. Just stillness. Around 5 a.m. I started putting things back. The chair, the blanket, the coffee mug, all where I remembered them last week. Not because it mattered. Because I wanted to know if they'd move again. The bottle on the counter was empty. I hadn't touched it. It was just empty now. I threw it in the trash without looking inside. The couch cushion had finally gone flat. I sat down slowly. This time it didn't feel warm. It didn't feel like anything. The SIM card was still on the table. I slid it into an envelope, sealed it. Didn't label it. Didn't mail it. Just taped it to the inside of a drawer. I turned on my phone. No missed calls. Checked voicemail. There was one. Timestamp 2:14 a.m. Right after the landline rang. I listened. No voice. But there was a faint background sound. Breathing. And then, my own voice. Just a whisper. One sentence. "You're almost done now." That was it. I deleted the message. Packed a small bag. Laptop, charger, keys. Walked to the front door. Stood there for a long time. Not opening it. Just listening. The hallway was silent. But the light under the door dimmed for a moment. Like someone had passed by. When I opened it, nothing. Empty hallway. I left the apartment exactly how I found it. No lights on. No music. No note. I drove across town. Didn't stop. Booked a cheap motel. Didn't use my name. When I checked my email that night, the system logs folder on my desktop was gone. No backup. No trash file. No cloud sync. Like it had never existed. I checked the old video drive. Still there. But the screen capture. The one that showed my face. Standing at the door. It was cropped now. Only showed the door. No figure. No shadow. No one. Everything was exactly where I left it. Again. The end.